Hey, I'm Roy Harmon, and this is the Hot Pursuit podcast brought to you by LeadPost, the retargeting platform built to help agencies increase revenue and improve ROI for their clients by identifying website visitors that don't convert. Learn more at leadpost.com/agency. And today we are joined by Dan Nistor, an esteemed e-commerce consultant and CEO and co-founder of Vevol Media.
Nice to meet you, Roy. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And Dan is going to talk to us about partnerships and their value and some of the fundamental things that you need to be thinking about when considering starting your own partnership program or joining somebody else's partnership program. So, Dan, can you start us off just by with kind of a broad overview of what you think the benefits are of strategic partnerships like you do?
Yeah, sure. So just to introduce myself, I'm Dan Nistor, as you mentioned, Roy, and I'm leading basically Vevol Media, which is an e-commerce agency. We are Shopify partners since 2018, and what we do mainly is web development, custom web development, bespoke design. So we help like e-commerce merchants to convert more and to increase their conversion rates, to have a better user experience, and therefore sell more. So the business model of what I'm doing and our business model is obviously agency. That means we bill our time and we actually serve clients with our time, with our services. But while we are focusing on web development and web design, so we don't do marketing. This is like, okay, it might be seen as the industry where it's marketing actually, but we are actually not doing PPC, like pay-per-click or like social ads or stuff like that. But there are other agencies out there who are doing it, okay? And if you think, let's say, about Shopify brand, like an e-commerce brand who is on Shopify, they need a web developer or a web development agency like us, but they also need somebody that does the marketing for them. Okay, so that's either a marketer inside their team or a marketing agency, like we are an agency. So the merchants needs both a web developer and a marketer. Because we don't do web development, we partner up really well with marketing agencies. So we serve the same client, but we have complementary services. And it's a really lucrative partnership when it comes to partnership within agencies, because if I know you, Roy, and you have a marketing agency, okay, that is serving this pet shop, for example, that sells online, they might ask you at some stage, hey, Roy, but like, you know what? I would like to implement this new feature on the product page because I heard it helps with conversions. Do you do that? And you say like, you know what, John, sorry, but I'm not a web developer. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing marketing. And then, John might be a bit upset that you can't serve him, so then you put John in the situation where he has to go out there and search for like a web development agency. Now, bear in mind, you're also risking to lose John as a client because, and I'll tell you why, there are full stack agencies, how they call them. I'll explain what that means as well. Like it's just a better partnership a better alliance between the agencies. But then John might find somebody who does web development and marketing. So then they say, Roy, you know what? Thank you very much for service. I'm going with X because they do also marketing and web development. Instead of you saying no to them, you could say, hey, John, look, I'm not doing web development. However, I'm working really well with Vevol Media. They are my trusted partners and the go-to Shopify partners when it comes to web development. And we worked together like on numbers of projects together in the past. And I'm confident that they can develop that feature for you as well. So let me just introduce you to Dan, and let's make this happen. So this is really how we do it at Vevol Media, and we actually give something back. So if you as a marketing agency like send us a referral, we're gonna reward you with a percentage of how much we charge that client. Okay, so you get something in exchange for your benefit in kind, like, or your kindness, you know. So that's really what a good strategic partnership means at Vevol Media. And not to mention that we also have clients that we help in web development, and they asked us, "Hey guys, do you know a marketer that really provides good services and has experience with ad shops?" If we know that you work on marketing and in PPC, social ads, then we say, "Hey, yeah, actually, we do know John or Roy. Let me just introduce you to Roy." So then just an introduction by an email, "Hey, look, John, please meet Roy. Roy, meet John. You can take it from here, guys." So this is what really a strategic partnership means in the world of agencies and B2B world. Hope that makes sense, Roy.
Yeah. So it sounds great, and it may even sound easy when you first think about it, but I think a lot of people have some trouble getting started when it comes to finding partners. And sometimes there's people who they'll have a partnership section of their site like you guys do, but sometimes there's not, or sometimes there's somebody who you just know they would be perfect, but you have to kind of do things in a more ad hoc way. They don't have any form you can fill out. So have you run into any challenges when it comes to convincing people that a partnership is a good idea? And how have you overcome those challenges? I know that incentives, like saying you get a percentage, that can be great, but it seems like sometimes that's not enough for people. They can't always see the value in that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's a very good question, actually. And in fact, it's not just about the percentage, just that's how we do it. Okay. Some agencies, some businesses, they don't offer this commission that I mentioned. And we don't do it for everybody either. And why is that? Because some people, some agency owners are not motivated by cash or by money initiatives. But instead, what we do there, we try to it's about building value in the ecosystem. Okay, so we try to do co-marketing campaigns. That can be maybe an article where we feature them. Then they would feature us in their blog, or maybe even webinars together. So last year, actually, we had a beautiful webinar with a marketing agency from Ireland. They were doing marketing. They were talking about beautiful things and strategies, how you can convert more clients using specific marketing strategies, while we were saying why Shopify is the best platform for your e-commerce store. So that's partnership means more than just that introduction by email, as that mentioned by me 5 minutes ago. So it's really about bringing value to the ecosystem. And partnerships can also mean where you have a new lead, like in your pipeline, okay? And you can't serve them because you don't have the skills, you don't have the resources to serve them. And that happened to us, okay? So because we are doing Shopify, and this is what we do, we had a lead, can call them clients. We had a lead that they were asking us to do SAP development, SAP custom development. Now, it's good for us to have some strategic partners that does SAP, because then we send them to those partners that does SAP. Okay, so when actually that partners of ours need Shopify development services, because they don't do it, they send their leads to us then. So it's a way of trying to help whoever comes into your pipeline, even if you don't help them with your services. It's like send them to somebody else. Of course, no, that somebody else should be kind of vetted by you, and you have to make sure that they deliver. When we set up partnerships, we always ask for case studies. So it's just, we don't just take their word for it. We actually do a kind of due diligence. But yeah, to answer your question, you can find partners maybe on platforms like LinkedIn, on sorts of groups like on Facebook, networking events, like physical networking events are great. Trade shows, they're really, really good, because so we are like a fully remote agency, but nothing compares with like, a physical connection, like a face-to-face conversation. You can feel the other's energy, the other confidence. You don't want to refer your leads, your prospects to somebody who like not confident that they would do a good job or can't deliver. So yeah, it's kind of like that. I hope I answered your question there. I know I kind of deviated a bit, but
No, great. That's great. In fact, you answered even some of my other questions. So, but just to dig in a little bit more, because I think that you've really shown the value, and that this is going to get a lot of people thinking that this is something that they would like to do. And it sounds a lot of the steps, they make sense. It's it's something that a lot of people would say, okay, yeah, I can do that. But when it comes to actually, if you don't have inbound requests, if you don't have people who, I think that your agency has gotten to the point where people come, they see your website, it looks amazing. They see the people you've worked with, they see the things you've done. It's clear they're like, okay, we want to work with these people. And in fact, I think now people are just coming to you. But for people who are newer and they do great work and they've got a good presence, but they haven't had time to really build it up, you talked about webinars and co-marketing, things like that. But even that kind of takes some doing to get people convinced that, okay, well, why should I take my time to do a webinar with you? Or why should I take my time to come on your podcast, or to let you guest post on my blog, or for me to guest post on yours? Do you have any tips on what people should be thinking about when it comes to demonstrating that value? And is it maybe a matter of maybe starting small, where that mutual benefit is more obvious? Because, for example, you're brand new. Of course, HubSpot's not going to want to partner with somebody who's brand new, but somebody else brand new might want to partner with somebody. Are there things like that you would recommend for people who are just getting started?
Yeah. So as I said, the due diligence is part of our partnership onboarding process, if you want. And of course, so you can partner up, like you can do partnerships down, you can partner up down, or you can partner up like up. So what I mean by that, you can say like Vevol Media, I'm taking my agency's example. So as you said, okay, we have a few nice case studies to showcase. We have some leads coming in. But then we are not afraid to partner up with agencies or with just individuals, like freelancers that are like not where we are at the moment, okay? Well, if they show excitement, if they show like that, I don't know, they come from a background where they know what they're talking about, I might give them a chance, with a project or two. And I like how you put it, starting small. Yeah. So in sales, we use this foot in the door technique. Okay. So it's kind of similar thing with partners. Like give them a small task, see how they deliver. And that way you can see like, okay, if it's worth it, working with them, you'll give them more projects. Your partnership grows, develops, evolves. Or like if you see that the communication is not there, the results are not there, then yeah, the better to stop sooner than later. But you can also partner up, like do partnership with, maybe not HubSpots or like, tools like that, but like with other agency that serves maybe a broader, a broader spectrum of clients that sell high tickets. So I would recommend to try both, and also partner up with agencies, freelancers that are kind of the same level like you. And this actually is a deal breaker for many, okay? Because what happens when we want to partner up with somebody that we think it would be a nice partnership to have, they might ask us, okay, Dan, but like your clients, how much are your clients doing in 1 year? Because we are only working with clients that does 50 million a year plus. Okay. So then they are bombarded kind of like with partnerships, and they want to make sure that they partner up with the right people. So they have a really, really strict filter of who they partner up with. Okay. So you should also take this into consideration. We have our sweet spot. We know it. We understand it. And you should kind of think like that. Okay. Have a structure, know who you're going after to partner up with. And my advice, Roy, for everybody that listens to your podcast is that, when you do partnerships, try not just to ask. Okay. Ask for leads, ask for clients, ask for whatever. Also try to offer back, because like it's not like you're getting it wrong from the get-go if you're just asking but not giving back anything. And I've seen this with so-called partners. They're just trying to take leads from us, but we'll never give you something back in return. And that just doesn't work,
And one of the other things you said that occurs to me as being an important factor is you talked about where to find partners. And I would think if you're going to a networking event, like you mentioned, and you're meeting people in person, that's a lot different than somebody shooting out a cold email and saying, hey, we're looking for partners. Or if you're on a website like, Partner Hub or something like that, where people are actively looking for partners. And then, of course, the ideal situation is one where somebody has an actual partnership section of their website like you do. And then they're looking for partners, and you can at least get in there and see if that will work out or not. On the vetting partners, you mentioned that, and that seems very important, because I know for me personally, throughout my career, I've had different opportunities to recommend people or to join up with people. And the big thing you're always worried about is, what if they suck? What if I send somebody over here and they're terrible, and I'm vouching for them? So you talked about getting case studies. Is there anything else you do to make sure that when you send somebody over there, they're not going to make you look bad?
Platforms like Clutch, for example, or Trustpilot, where you can see, or just Google, like where you can see reviews from their clients, their past clients, also work well. So, for example, we have about 15 vetted reviews on Clutch.com. Clutch is kind of like the Trustpilot for agencies. And what they do, and it's a great platform actually, in terms of like boosting your SEO, but also boosting your credibility and authority in the industry. What they do at Clutch, they pick up the phone, the Clutch representatives, and they ring your client. So they say, hey, John, like I heard you, Vevol Media worked with you on rebuilding your website. Is that right? how was the project going with them, and they are basically asking a lot of questions. So yeah, clutch reviews are really powerful because they are like not fake reviews. So like if you are a freelancer, if you're a freelancer or if you're an agency, try to set up a clutch profile as soon as possible and leverage it. Okay, so ask your past clients to give you reviews there. I know it's kind of like takes about 10 minutes for them to sit on a call with clutch people, but it really works then when I will be reviewing them, like, or I'll do my due diligence. So yeah, that works. And you can also do it the classy way. I mean, just ask for like a phone number of past clients, or like, when you get a new job, they ask you for referrals. So you can also do it that way.
When it comes to sites like Clutch, are you able to incentivize those reviews, or is that against their terms of service?
What do you mean with that exactly?
Well, for example, one thing that I've found to be pretty effective is to send out emails asking how people feel about your product or service, and have maybe a smiley face, a kind of flat face, and then a frowny face. And anybody who does a smiley face, you send them you ask them to leave a review and say, I'll give you a $20 gift card or something like that. And anybody who leaves a frowny face or the, neutral face, you send them to a feedback survey so that you can improve. And I was curious if an approach like that would work, or if that's something that would be against the rules, at least maybe on Clutch.
Yeah, makes sense though. We never did it, so I don't know really. Yeah, it is a bit of time commitment from your client to stay there on the phone, as I said, with the Clutch people and give you a review. So I think, yeah, maybe like a €50 Amazon voucher or something like that would make them feel like comfortable spending their time doing that. So it's a good idea, Roy. On the other hand, if you provided like a good service, it kind of like your client owes you, So like, yeah, you can also do it with like free, but yeah, it makes sense the way you put it.
Right. And I mean, it's funny. Some people, the getting paid actually maybe makes them less likely to do it. Whereas if they love your service and they want to go and do that for you, then they're going to go and they're going to give you a raving review. Other people, they'll say, I mean, my time's more valuable than $50. So maybe they would have done it out of the goodness of their heart. But once you put a price on it, they're thinking, well, but probably ought to be more like a $500 voucher.
Double-edged sword.
So that's, right. Something to test though, something to test. Can you talk to us about some more of the things that you've done on the co-marketing side? Because that's, as a marketer, very interesting to me. The idea of doing webinars together, the idea of doing, courses or ebooks or anything like that. Can you talk about some of the things either that you've done or that you've heard about that have been effective?
Yeah. So webinars are one thing, then articles where you kind of give each other backlinks. Physical events also works well. So like maybe you co-sponsor like an event and co-organize an event in your area. We saw that working really, really well with some of our partners. Newsletters. And I know like you also talk a lot in your podcast about like email marketing and stuff. So newsletters, okay? If you think that you would bring value to your partner subscribers, and maybe ask them, hey, look, John, I know you have like a newsletter that it's really active. Look, I'm wondering if you would just like promote our service through your newsletter. And what we're going to do, actually, we're going to offer 10% off of our service to all your subscribers. So it's a win-win. Okay, they advertise your service, but actually all their subscribers get the 10% off of your product or for your service. So we've done that. It works really, really well, but it has to be like hyper targeted. Okay, you can't just go broad. You don't want to ruin the other's reputation. You want to know what you're talking about. Every word has its own place in those newsletters. But when you think it brings value and when it adds value, and do it, because that really works.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And one thing that just occurred to me is something that would be really interesting. It wouldn't work for every agency or business, but especially with all the AI generated content these days, anytime that you can have your own original research to kind of have as the input, to where your input is input that nobody else can get to feed into ChatGPT or whatever they're using, is a good thing. And if you combine with somebody else, if you're sort of, maybe it's an email marketing agency teaming up with an email marketing software company or something like that, each of them will have different case studies and statistics, and you can then combine those. And I've seen some really good people do joint research reports and things like that. So that's another great idea. Well, that is really that. What would you say is your one biggest piece of advice then to people when it comes to partnerships?
Think win-win. Yeah, think win-win. Okay. I personally get a lot of messages, partner up with, like, I don't know, a lot of apps there in our ecosystem, or like a lot of other freelancers or agencies. But by just looking at their website or by just looking at how they write, you know that it's just a generic message. They just want your clients. And that doesn't sit well with me. Like I'm scanning, I'm filtering them really quickly. I know exactly who they are and what they are trying to do. So like, but somebody who comes up with a really, really genuine message, or like maybe a partner of ours introduces me to another potential partner. That's really powerful, because I know there might be something there. Okay. So then we have a conversation, and then you're going to have a conversation with them, see how things are going. And then you decide, like, if you want to partner up with the other party or not. But always think in terms of win-win. Okay. What can I get from them? But what can I give back? What can I give back? Maybe your clients wouldn't be suitable to be their clients, but maybe you have like 10,000 subscribers on your email list, and maybe they'll give you clients or leads, and you give them exposure to, I don't know, your subscribers or to your social media channels, you know? So yeah, win-win.
And it sounds like personalization is also important. You don't want somebody who's just, like you said, just obviously they're just blasting everybody trying to get their clients. So maybe if they use a tool like Clay or something like that, and they're able to pull some data from your website or something like that, and know that you just put out a webinar or something to make you feel like they have done some research, that's probably also helpful.
That's very important in today's age. Like, you know, AI is taking over the content. And I mean, especially for us who are in the digital space, we see, like, when a text is written by AI or by just a genuine interested person in you. So yeah. One another channel where you could find partners, or like some Slack channels. Okay, so there are like a lot of Slack channels dedicated to specific industries, to specific niches. Some of them are paid. I saw recently that you can pay like a fee to be part of this. I could pay a membership and be part of this community or that community. Or some of them are just open spaces. And I know there are Slack channels or even Discord channels like that. So, yeah, kind of masses try to avoid those type of channels because, You can't really fake it there. I mean, you could if you really are looking for that type of way of doing things, but channels like that also work.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan. Can you tell people where they can find out more about you, where they can follow you, and where they should go if they're interested in seeing if they might be a good fit for your partnership program?
Sure. So I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, Dan Nistor, or you can just check our website, which is vevolmedia.com. And we're happy to help you with your Shopify projects, or maybe you're a suitable partner.
And what kind of partners do you look for? Is there anything in particular that, any specific skills or anything like that you're looking for right now?
See, like the more creative you are, the better when it comes to like what type of partners can you get. And I don't know, like to be honest with you, we work well with digital marketing agencies. We kind of have a few now, but we also work well with like business development consultants, for example, somebody who is trying to digitalize a company, and they maybe need a migration from their legacy platform like WordPress, or like, I don't know, another platform like Magento to Shopify. So with digital transformation experts, we work well with them. Other type of digital agencies, accountants, okay, like accountants that offer their services to e-commerce merchants. We partner up well with them. And basically anybody that think that our web development services, our Shopify web development services could benefit their clients.
Yeah, it sounds like as long as there's mutual value there, the more anybody who has some creative idea should reach out. Well, thank you very much, Dan. That was a really great conversation, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite, Roy.